Hey mama, I'm Ashley, and this is the Maverick Mompreneur podcast, where you're free and encouraged to own your desire to create and scale an impactful, discoverable online brand and business in the midst of motherhood. A business that's aligned with your mission, lifestyle desires, personality, and zone of genius without wasting your time on the hustle and grind hamster wheel that is social media. Can I get an amen? Sis, you are a maverick, an original, willing to stand out in your authenticity, defy expectations, and do life and business outside the box. In our world, if it's not aligned with who we are, it's a hard pass or a brave pivot. So if you're here for the powerful identity shift and transformation from boss babe or boss mom to aligned CEO, building a one-of-a-kind, influential, hustle-free online business that will produce long-term impact and multiple streams of income through SEO, affiliate marketing, and courses while building yourself in the process, well, pop in those AirPods, grab that cup of coffee or glass of wine, and let's get growing. Hello. Ashley back here with episode 76 of the Maverick Mompreneur podcast. I am so glad that you're here with me. I am recording a Grow With Me mini this week. Remember when I said I was going to do a new type of series called Grow With Me Minis, where I share with you lessons in life, love, and business that I'm currently learning and growing through, and then I didn't do any of those aside from the first one? Well, here we are. This is mini-sode number 2, Grow With Me. And this is going to be more of a conversational style of post where I'm just chatting with you and giving you the scoop on, in this case, business, where my business has been after doing a lot of reflecting and what I'm doing now and where I'm going. And I just want to bring you some insider info, if you will, if you're a loyal podcast listener, and just tell you what's been going on. I've got some really exciting things and changes that are taking place right now, currently, as I speak. And I'm just excited to do a quick little episode and chit chat with you. So these episodes are not going to be very produced. I probably won't even add in the intro. And I know some of you are like, oh, thank God, we don't need any more of that intro. But when someone comes across the podcast for the first time, I do want them to know what we're all about here. And so on the Maverick Mompreneur podcast, I share information about online business and all things related to that, including mindset. And we are really about doing things, business, life, love, in alignment and differently than maybe other people in your life have expected you to or would like you to, or differently than you expected things to go, but you are absolutely owning it and moving forward, feeling good and aligned and in your purpose and in your power and all of those things. So let's talk about 2022 in business, because I'm going to be honest with you, it was at the end of the year pretty, I would say scary, pretty scary as far as wondering, okay, what's going on here? I'm not really selling the way that I had been the previous 3 quarters and the past couple years before that. And there's no plan B, or there wasn't a plan B. And it was honestly really scary. And it's turned around. I feel like in 2023 that I've started to, I have hit my stride again. And I feel my confidence and my momentum coming back. But at the end of 2022, it was pretty scary. And I've mentioned previously that 2022 was the first year where my residual income from my social selling network marketing business that I built for a few years prior to that pretty much had dwindled, not to nothing, but to an amount where 85+% of my income is really coming from my own offers. And I was really proud of that, but it also makes it so that it's all on me. And I knew that was going to be the case. I knew I couldn't sustain having 2 separate businesses, giving 100% to both. Obviously, I knew that was going to happen. However, it did give me some room to pivot. And so 2022 was the year of pivoting away from something that didn't feel aligned for me anymore, business or life-wise, to what absolutely feels aligned, which is what I'm doing now. And so all things considered, it was great, but it was a lower year than the previous two. And there's lots of reasons for that. I think one thing I've been thinking back on, and just the caveat, this is not to blame anyone but myself, because we have agency and ownership over our own lives and the decisions that we make. And sometimes we make the easier decision, even though it's not the best for us, out of comfort, out of ego, out of not wanting to be alone, out of wanting to please other people, but we make our own choices. In most cases, I'm not talking about in cases of abuse, but in this case, it wasn't. So most of 2022, I was dating the same person, and it was very unstable in the sense that probably every couple of months, I was finding myself feeling heartbroken. And I'm a super emotional person. I also have anxiety. And so being in a situation for majority of the year where I was very up and down, like as far as my emotional health and as far as my heart and as far as my energy, that definitely, looking back, impacted my business. Again, not blaming anyone but myself for staying in that type of situation despite how much I loved someone or was committed to this situation or whatever it was. But I know I wasn't able to show up full force consistently because I was distracted by that and by my own thoughts and emotions, rather than running through finish lines like we're made to do and like I usually do, rather than being able to persevere and push through the hard things. It is more difficult when you're not at peak mental and emotional health to make big moves. And I needed to do that last year, especially in that pivotal year. I needed to basically 2x my output, and I wasn't able to do that. And I will completely own that. I did what I could. I absolutely did what I could. I still had a great year, all things considered, but I did learn that truly who you choose to share your energy with, who you choose to share your life with, is really important. Who you allow access to you, that can make your life so amazing, or it can really hold you back from what you're meant to do. And sometimes, if it's not so bad, some of the times it's easy to cling on to things that you need to let go, you need to get out of your life, regardless of good times or how you feel or how you think things could go. Your mental health is so important. Your emotional health is so important. And there are people out there who will take care of that, who will consider that, who will not hurt you. Friendships, relationships, whatever it is. And so I don't know who I'm speaking to, but if that's you and you're constantly feeling that up and down, it's not meant to be like that. It's not. I don't care what anyone says or what type of commitment issues they have or whatever it is. That's on them. What's on you is making decisions for your life. And again, we're responsible for the results that we have or don't have in our business. And so I will own I'm responsible for not the lack of results, but the results that were more limited than I believe I could have had were I in a better, more stable place. And I could have provided that for myself. So definitely a lesson learned. And from here on out, that is just something that I've grown through. That's not a grow with me. That is I have grown and will no longer tolerate inconsistency, someone who makes me feel like I'm optional, who is a taker versus a giver in that relationship. I'm not speaking about in general, but it doesn't matter in general. It matters the experience you have within any type of relationship. So anyway, not to go on and on about that, but really I've been thinking a lot about why this year 2023 I've had almost limitless energy, limitless capacity to create be there for my clients, be very involved with my clients. And I want to talk to you more about that when I get into 2023 and what's going on now. But I've been in such a different energetic space, and I've been just pushing and having fun with it and able to make these decisions for my business as the CEO of my business that feel super aligned, super good, like ballsy decisions, which again, we'll talk about that coming up, but I feel very confident about that. And I'm just pushing, keeping it moving. And why I think that's happening is that the previous experience and the way that I let my heart get basically trampled on for another person's happiness, I made some decisions accordingly. And now I am in such a better place. I'm frankly in an amazing relationship that is very stable, that makes me super happy. And I don't have ups and downs. And I've never experienced that ever. I've not experienced a relationship that provides peace and comfort and support and stability, and it's mutual and it's freaking amazing. And I could have that by myself too, but that's the new standard, is if someone isn't adding to the peace that I have when I'm by myself, then I literally don't want it. Like what? Absolutely not. So I finally am back to the peace that I had when I was, not at my prime, but I took about 9 months off of dating, or even thinking. At the point that I met the person I started dating, I wasn't even thinking about that at all, but I was open to it. But I had gotten to such a good place where I was crushing it. I was happy to be by myself. It was like, yes, I've got all the things that I need. I have my daughter. Like, this is amazing. And then, of course, there's like the honeymoon phases of relationships. And then it should not have continued on as long as it did. So much love for this individual, but relationship-wise, that was not it. And it took away from my peace. It took away from the stability that I had by myself. So anyway, 2023, I'm back, baby. I'm better than ever, and I've learned a lot. One other thing I learned in 2022 related to this, I think I only had, if my therapist is listening to this, she can verify, I think I only had 1 or 2 sessions the entire year. And frankly, it was because I started getting just embarrassed that I was allowing this shit behavior to continue on. Sorry, I keep laughing when I say it, but it's almost laughable to me now looking back, because I would never allow this now. But I only had a couple of therapy sessions the entire year. I just didn't want to talk about it. I knew the decisions that I was making. I knew it wasn't exactly the healthiest for me, but now looking back, I see how unhealthy and how damaging that really was. Of course, no matter how strong you are. So prioritizing mental and physical health and scheduling that into my calendar this year. And I'm not talking about therapy. I'm talking about the little habits that keep us centered and keep us focused. I now have on my calendar, Monday through Friday, read and reflect every single day. I've been working out a little bit too much, but I've been so consistent with working out and doing the things that I know just keep me feeling at my best, optimal performance, to use a really lame phrase that I heard someone say years and years ago. But anyway, I just feel so much better knowing that it's my job to be the best version of myself, because I want to support my clients massively. I want to be an incredible mom. I want to be an amazing friend. I want to be a wonderful partner to my boyfriend. I want to be a great family member. I want to do that. And I can't if I don't protect my energy, if I don't protect my inner peace, if I don't prioritize that. And if you're a personal brand, which if you're listening to this, you are, or you just love me and you're my friend and I love you too. But if you're a personal brand, this is it. You're the product essentially. So you need to be at your best. This is not a joke. This will impact your bottom line of your quality of life, but also of your bank account. One other thing that I learned in 2022, or in retrospect, learned through 2022, when you get into a situation where you're making less money than you had before, and you hadn't budgeted to be making drastically less money than you had previously, it's tempting to, and this is exactly what I did, freak out and pull the plug on what was previously working. So for example, Facebook ads. I had ran the same Facebook ad for almost 2 years and grew my Facebook group, my community, which is where I was doing the majority of my showing up and selling. And I freaking love that group. Changed my entire life. Those women are amazing. But my ads account got shut down for some reason. We won't get into that. It's a whole nother thing. And so I started a new ad account and I didn't prioritize getting that back up and running because I was like, well, how can I be investing in ad spend when I'm making this amount of money and I was spending this before? And so I didn't prioritize it. And I took some months off, like 2 months off maybe, of getting that up and running. And it takes a while for ads to get optimized. And so now I have it back on and it's not converting as well as the old account because that had been going so well, but it's doing pretty well. And I'm actually shifting strategies anyway. But the takeaway there is don't just pull the plug on what you're investing in. And it might not be ad spend for you if it was working when you have a down month. I know it can be nerve-wracking, but you need to be growing your audience daily. And if that is what you were doing and that's what was working, you can't pull out of that unless you have something else as a backup that is going to work. And so I made some decisions in 2022 out of fear and frankly, worry and doing what I could, but not what was my best at certain times of the year. And I'm just so over that. And 2023 has not been like that. I am hitting my stride again. We had a great Q1 with the launch of Social Seller to CEO Academy for the 3rd cohort. We're about to start the CEO portion of that, which is creating exceptional offers. And I'm reshooting it live because I have learned so much and there's so much new technology like AI and Chat GPT that needs to be incorporated into that curriculum. So I'm actually really excited to deliver that live over a course of 6 weeks with the women that are in cohort 3. I'm thinking about opening that portion up because I do think being there live and able to ask questions is really powerful. So if there's enough interest in that, it's not really even in my marketing plan. Well, there's another thing that I want to do is invite people into the live CEO portion of the academy because I know there are a lot of women who are wanting to add in offers, whether it be an ebook, whether it be a digital course, whether it be some sort of consultation as far as what they do. They're wanting to add that in as a stream of additional revenue, which I wholeheartedly support and think is the play to make if you haven't already. And I would love to help you out with that. So I'll put a link. That's what I'll do. CEO moves here. I'm going to make a decision right now. I'm going to create a link in Kajabi and I'm going to put it in the show notes and I'll promote it in my Facebook group as well. If anyone is interested in joining for that live version of the second half of Social Seller to CEO Academy. And if you want to get in on the full thing, I can also include a link for that. You would just have to do self-paced for the first part. I think I'm cool with that. Okay. So part of what's been amazing about the first quarter, and now we're in the first month of the second quarter, is that I did something new in Q1 and it sort of happened organically. I was not planning on doing this, but I just felt like it was what needed to happen with 3 different clients, 3 different one-on-one clients. No, one of them was straight up, she hired me to build out her funnels and her website. So that one was intentional. But what wasn't intentional was we paired it with a 3-month one-on-one coaching package. And so I made this hybrid model for this particular client and then incorporated elements of a hybrid model into my one-on-one coaching with other clients. And it's been amazing. And so by hybrid, I mean the combination of 2 different things together that work together. And so in this instance, it is having that high level, high touch one-on-one coaching, but also myself as someone who is creating and working with you to create your own brand assets. So rather than what I've always done in the past, which is I have a lot of courses, I have every single piece of information minus the new CEO Academy stuff coming up out in the world in courses so that you could recreate what I have created and create the systems, do all the things. But it's a lot of information. And for some people, they go into Social Seller CEO Academy, or they went through Influence, Impact, and Income Academy. They took the information, they ran with it, and they're freaking crushing it. Like Lindsay Rogenbuck is over there like millionaire status at this point. So some people have enough background, time, all these different factors to mindset to execute on these frameworks based on a self-paced and somewhat guided like group program. Other people have no bandwidth to do all of the things required, or they don't want to slow down what it is that they're doing in order to build out all of these assets that they want. They want to have the automation. They want to have the website that's bringing their ideal clients to them through SEO. If they have a local business, they want more foot traffic. But the thought of taking 20 plus hours of time to build it all out and learn how to build it all out sounds really daunting. So what I've been offering through the hybrid is both, basically, like done for and done with you, but then coaching on the front end of your business. So I work with so many people. I want to say women, but shout out to Carl and Sandy. I adore them. I've been able to work with them for Q1 and crossing over into Q2 on a project, and it's just been so life-giving. It's not the most scalable thing, but I have decided that this hybrid, if you didn't see yesterday, I'll link it in the show notes as well. I'm offering Elevate Hybrid Mentorship, which is exactly what I'm describing. It's a combination, and it's in 2-month increments. There's 2, 4, or 6-month options, and it depends on what you need done and accomplished, and frankly, what we agree upon. And so that would be a good fit. So for most people, they're coming in and they want their website done. They want email marketing built out. They need a logo, like all the brand identity pieces. And so we work together on all of that. And I build out a lot of it on the back end so that my clients can keep it moving on what they are working on. So I have one one-on-one client who I'm built out, it's done, her funnels for her social selling business for the opportunity and then also for product. And so she and I have been working on more mindset, social media strategy, showing up consistently. What is her brand identity online? All of those things, the front end. She is in charge of doing that and executing that and bringing those things to me. And then that's what we spend our time in our sessions doing. And then I'm working on the back end, creating her brand assets. So it's been amazing. I'm obsessed with it. And that's completely different and new. And I don't know of any other coaches that are doing that, but it's perfect for me and it's been great for my clients. So I'm super stoked about that. That's been the new thing. So full circle moment, I've shared before on the podcast, but my background is actually in special education. So I taught special education middle school for 8 years. And then after I went back and got my master's degree in educational leadership, I was a program coordinator, district administrator for the special education department of a school district down in San Jose. And so what I'm really, really excellent at is individualizing programs. Now what I realize I'm doing is I'm individualizing my own programs because not every single piece of a self-paced course is going to work for every individual. There's so many factors. And what I love and what I feel like I am gifted at and extremely experienced in is individualization and helping someone to make things happen by seeing what they need according to their life, what they've got going on, their learning style, their background, all of these different things. It's literally life-giving to me to be able to do that. So I'm going to continue doing that piece. But what I'm doing On the other side of things, because like I said, that's not scalable. So I'm going to take on a very limited number of these hybrid projects. Of course, I'm going to be charging more and more as time goes on and my clients are getting more and more results. Duh. I've got basically a wait list going right now for staggered start times, which is really exciting, but I'm going to try and make it as efficient as possible. But on the flip side of things, what I'm doing next in 2023 is really taking things to the next level. And I've been ready to do this for a while. I just haven't had the bandwidth overall because taking things to the next level, and yes, I will describe what exactly I mean by that because it's so obnoxious when people are talking about, oh, next level this, like what does that actually mean? But anyway, haven't had the quite the capacity to run through finish lines. And if you don't know what I mean by that, I think about this at Orange Theory almost every day. And they reference it too when you're at the tail end of a workout or you're at the tail end of a race and you've given 100%, you've given a lot of effort and energy. The thing that makes the difference is your ability to kick it into next gear and sprint through that finish line. That can be the difference between first place and fifth place. Truly, I mean, when it comes to like a shorter race. And it's definitely what makes the difference in improving your fitness. If you can dial it up a notch at the end, that's going to improve your fitness. And the same thing with business, your ability to execute well and run through the finish line of what it is that you're doing and then be able to recover quickly, like your business fitness, if you will. I was not at peak business performance, peak business fitness last year. I am now. It's so interesting to me. So just know that if you're in a place where you're like, oh, I'm not feeling motivated, check in with yourself on a couple of things. Check in with yourself on alignment with what it is that you're doing, because I've been in that place too, where I didn't feel motivated to work hard, work at my capacity, run through finish lines, if you will, because I was not aligned with what I was doing. So it could be that, like you're ready for a change. You're ready for a different business model entirely. You're ready to burn it all down and start things over. You're ready to change companies. You're ready to change niches and industries and totally rebrand yourself. It could be alignment with what you're doing in business, but it also could be that you're in a toxic relationship. And I'm not saying any person is toxic. Please don't come at me. I'm saying relationships can be toxic. It can be a combination of people. That can be what's causing you to not be able to work at your capacity. I'm not a therapist. I don't know how you're specifically going to address that, but don't ignore it. I'm just saying don't ignore it. Trust me, I've made my fair share of very small and very large moves to make sure that in that area I've stayed and gotten back into alignment, and I'll never stop because I'll never stop taking care of myself and taking care of my daughter and what's best for us both. So anyway, elevating to the next level. I've put together a post on Instagram, and you can find it on Instagram. It is the pinned post at the very top left-hand corner of my feed. And it's basically my offer suite from how you can receive value in learning from me in a free way, from my brand toolkit, which is always linked down in the show notes, to the podcast. And then I go all the way through my offers, like what it is that I offer, how I work with women and Carl. And in working on that and putting it together, I already knew this, but just seeing it fleshed out, I'm like, this is a damn good offer suite. And I added in the content creation solution this quarter. Like, it's so good. I'm so proud of the body of work that I've created. And the clients that I'm working with this past quarter have been so encouraging. One of them, I didn't ask her permission, so I'm just going to tell her what she said. She basically said, everyone needs to be exposed to this, particularly in social selling. She's like, this is mind-blowing. I want to be you when I grow up. This is so exciting. I'm having so much fun. We're working together on a hybrid project, and it's just been so cool to see that invigoration and excitement over what it is that I'm teaching in someone else, because that's how I feel about it. And so what I realized is I don't need new offers. I don't need to be creating new offers all the time. I need more new people seeing the amazing things I have to offer and being taken from not knowing me at all to being super freaking stoked to be in one of my programs, taking one of my self-paced courses, working with me as a mentor. I need that. I need all focus to be on new people, the right new people, getting in front of what it is I have to offer in a scaled way. So that's what I'm working on. So to that end, business update, I hired one of my besties, shout out to Jody, and she's doing a lot of things behind the scenes. But one thing she is working on is getting me, by reaching out, getting me onto other people's podcasts and coordinating that so that I can be in front of similar audiences to mine and just have more exposure. And then also having more guests on this show. And so that's something that we're working on this quarter, is really getting me onto other people's podcasts. And I haven't done too much of that before. I've been on 4 or 5, but that's a big goal, because to elevate to the next level in a free way, one way to reach new people and get the right ears and eyes on what I have to offer is being on other people's podcasts. So that's one thing. Sending podcast episodes off to be edited. Oh my gosh. It's so hard for me. It's so hard to let go of control. And I think this episode, I don't know, I think I'm going to send this one off too, because now that I look at it, I've been yapping for 30 minutes and I need some of these dead spaces to be edited out. But I am sending podcast episodes off to be edited. That's a decision I made. It saves massive amounts of time. I need to learn how to let go of control of everything being perfect, but it also saves me massive amounts of time. It's interesting because the last 2 guests that I've had on the podcast were speaking about, in our conversation, we're talking about the concept of buying back your time and how much your time is worth. And they gave, Stephanie and Allison both gave formulas for calculating that. It's the same formula. I was listening back, I'm like, wait a minute, they're reading the same books. This is hilarious. And they're totally unrelated as far as I know, have no connection. I don't think they've been on one another's podcast. But by the way, both of those podcast episodes have done really well. You guys especially liked, let me look at this one. What was it doing? There's like a huge surge the other day listening to the one on Mom Guilt with Steph Tush. She just did, oh my gosh, she's amazing. Yep. Still climbing on that one. So interesting. Okay. When I calculated my own basically rate of what makes sense to spend my time on versus what, if it's anything under this certain dollar amount per hour that I could have work done for me and hire out, I need to be doing that. And I can't tell you what a big difference it's made. So in hiring Jody, sending podcasts off to be edited, and then this other piece that I'm going to tell you in a minute, I'm not yet back to making per month, like over an abundance, which is where I feel comfortable, to be honest, where I just don't have to worry about giving. I don't have to worry about money at all, like none of it, right? So I want to be at that point again, consistently month after month. It doesn't need to be this exorbitant amount, but I know what that number is for me. So I'm not there yet, but I'm also not going to get there without doing these things that I'm doing. So just been thinking a lot about return on investment, particularly when it comes to return on time. And yes, do I spend some of that extra time taking care of myself? Because guess what I wouldn't be doing if I weren't hiring out those items? I would be a basket case with way too many things on my plate. And so I know that, speaking to someone too, you have to get out of the weeds. And the quickest way to get out of the weeds is to hire things out, whether that's things in your personal life or in your business. Even if you don't feel like you're quite ready, let that be the kick in the pants that you need to make things freaking happen. This is the total mindset that I'm in right now. I'm like, I am just freaking doing it. Like, let's go. All out, full sprint, no stopping until we're there. And I feel like I have the capacity for that. as long as I'm taking care of myself every single day. We are not trying to burn out. So we are building in actual self-care into every day. So another thing that I'm doing next week, and this is going to be really interesting. Oh, I got to tell you about something else that's going on too, because it's going to be going on for the next little bit here. I am doing my first ever brand photo shoot. So I have a professional photographer, hired her. She's going to be doing my brand photos, I think, for enough content for like a year, but definitely I needed this more immediately for a funnel, a series of funnels, shall we say, for my business. I am working and hiring out a lot of pieces of this. I'm building out a funnel to automate the process of selling my offers in a scalable way more than I ever have before. I have not fully invested in building out what I know I needed to do. Well, I didn't know I needed to do, but building out something that is next level. And I don't think that you need to have funnels to make money online, but eventually you do. Like, you can't, unless you want to continue live launching forever, you need to learn ads. You need to build out funnels. You need to build out a way to nurture someone and have them get to know you and all the value you have to offer without you being involved directly. But that does take building things out, creating the assets that you need to, etc. And so what I did was design the funnel, and then I looked at it and I said, okay, what am I willing to give control away on and trust someone else to build out for me, and then I can connect the pieces of the funnel that I've created. So that was my compromise with myself, is that I want it to be my funnel, but I want help with building out the pieces of that, and then I can connect them. So I'm really excited about that. The brand photos, a lot of them will be used for these different parts of the funnel. It's just going to be a reflection of where my business truly is and how impactful. I really shied away from doing brand photo shoots until now, because I believe that you don't have to have everything be so fancy and techy in order to get started. And that was really important for me. And I think I had the whole like duplication thing from social selling network marketing in my head for so long that, I just didn't want to do something. I wanted to show, and I still want to show anyone, if I can do this, you can do this, because I truly believe that if you can see someone else do it, you can too. It might be more difficult. You might have more obstacles. Someone else might have more advantages, or you might have more advantages. All of those things are true. But if you see it, it's possible for you too. Maybe not on the same time frame, maybe not with as much ease and flow, or maybe with more ease and flow, but it is possible. So I've gotten by with just doing my selfie batch photo shoots. I've taught on that before. I still believe in it. All of my funnels, I have no professional pictures, not a one on anything. And I've hit the 6-figure mark multiple years in a row. So you don't have to have that. However, when you're going from what I've been doing, which is mostly a warm audience seeing my sales pages, mostly a warm audience seeing my marketing. When I go from that to cold marketing, being running an ad where the first impression in a very noisy, crowded online space someone gets is whatever piece of the funnel, whether it's an ad or whether it's jumping off the podcast to a landing page, whatever it is, they're on my website, they find me through SEO, they find me through YouTube, I'm all over the place. So however they find me, that's their first impression of me. And I think about when I come across someone who I think, I think maybe they might have something to teach me. It's not based on how they look, but branding and branding through photography can be very powerful. And I do want to appear as professional as I am. I want my business to be as elevated as it is in appearance from someone who doesn't know me. Now, I want my brand photos, and I'm sure they're going to reflect this, to be like a reflection of me. A lot of them are going to be in my home, me at my desk, not in fancy dresses, because that's not me. That's just not a reflection of my brand. But I do want my brand and who I am to be reflected in professional photos. So I hope that makes sense. So if you're ever considering brand photos, you don't need them. But if you are acquiring people into your world and you get one first impression, it needs to be a good one. The online space is very crowded, very noisy, very competitive. And you are amazing. You have a lot to offer, but you don't want to lose people based on them thinking, well, that just kind of looks cruddy. And it's not just the images, it's your copy, it's all the things. But just some food for thought. All right. I'm going to leave you with an analogy that I have loved for the last 12 years. One of my best friends, Derek, who's doing amazing things. He is an entrepreneur. He's the person who introduced me to what that is a hard word to say. Entrepreneurism, what that actually is and what it looks like. And I didn't know until I knew, stepping into my own journey, but watching him grow and have so many ideas and so little time, and things working out and things not working out, and things working out better than planned and not as good as planned. But all the things adding up, and the excitement and the creativity, and using all the different skill sets from everything that he's done from the time he graduated college until now, when the company that he founded several years ago, Airmetric, is now contracting with Delta Airlines, with the military. He is literally blowing it up, like crushing it, he and his team, with the company that he started. But he's utilizing every single thing that he's learned along the way, from the hard times, the good times, etc., to be a great leader, to be an excellent CEO, and to have all of this unfold. And I'm so excited for him. But anyway, he gave me this analogy, or told me this analogy about Chinese bamboo. And I'm going to get a Chinese bamboo tattooed, a little small one, probably like on the side of my hand or like my forearm, because it's so powerful. Okay, so Chinese bamboo roots for 5 years. So if you were to go through a bamboo forest and see a little sprig of bamboo on the surface, that bamboo has likely been for 2, 3, 4, 5 years building roots, building this foundation. 5 years. But then what happens is, within a year of it sprouting, it can grow up to 80 feet. It grows more rapidly than any other type of tree or plant. It just shoots up. It's so strong. There's just amazing things you can do with bamboo once it's grown up, but it needed 5 years. It needed a solid time to grow those roots to support that quick growth. The reason it's able to grow quickly is because it was underground, rooting all that time, building that foundation. And so I think it goes without saying, but I'm going to say it. The parallel in our businesses is, you see people shoot up and they're an overnight success, but it's taken 12 years to be that overnight success, right? It's taken Derek 15, 20 years to now be probably an overnight millionaire, right? Just absolutely crushing it. But it didn't come without so much rooting and foundation building. And so just keep that in mind. If you're not seeing the results that you want yet, you are in that rooting phase. You have to keep going. You have to keep building that foundation. And at some point, you are going to shoot up, and you will be able to sustain that over time. There's so many people who, for whatever set of circumstances, they shoot up, they have quick success. There's a wave of momentum. They went viral, but they don't have the roots to sustain that and to be able to do amazing things with that fast growth and take it and just go amazing places. And so I want you to remember that you are like that bamboo. If you are in a place where you're not seeing the massive results you want yet, I'm there with you too. But I know they're coming. And I think why I'm so excited is because I know I'm ready. I know I have the foundations. I know I have the systems. I know I have the mindset, the support, all the things. And I'm so ready to grow. Like, I'm ready for this to be my 80 feet in a year. Let's freaking go. So I hope that you're in that same spot. I hope that this episode was informational, entertaining, all of the things. And I will be back with a regular, more training style Ashley Maverick Mompreneur episode next week. Until then, cheers to your impact and have a good rest of your week and weekend. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. My goal is to help as many women in business online as possible to build strong, powerful, aligned, and profitable personal brands. The best way to show you appreciate this content is to screenshot and share on your social media or share with your team. Actually, even better would be to also leave a review for the podcast on whichever platform you're listening on. If you are looking for any additional support, you can always reach me via email at hello@elevatedwithashley.com. You can DM me on Instagram at Ashley R. Latimer, or join us in the free Elevate Academy for Brand Building, Maverick Marketers, and Mompreneurs Facebook community. Can't wait to chat with you next week.